Hello mates, so welcome to the Baron Reviews, with me the Baron, and I want to make a special little video today to answer a question that I get asked a lot, and I meant to answer this question a long time ago when I did my Q&A. I think, was it about 2 months ago I did that Q&A. I got a couple of questions saying, how did I become involved with Blade and Sorcery? As in, I'm not the developer, I'm not, part of the team or anything like that. I don't code, I don't do anything like that. Yet, why am I always associated with the game? And why was I the guy who was doing all the videos for the game back in the early days? So when I did a Q&A, I meant to answer this question, but I completely forgot. I'd written down all the questions on a little scrap of paper. I recorded my video, and then afterwards I found I'd misplaced that little piece of paper. So basically, I just forgot to answer the question. So I want to make this video just to answer it. So gather around, folks, because this is going to be the story, the old tale of KospY and the Baron. This is how I became associated with Blade and Sorcery. So it all started about a year ago now, I believe it was. I was a small YouTuber. I still am a small YouTuber, but I was a micro YouTuber. I had about 100 subs, 150 or so, 150 subs or so. And I was making these really short, concise, and objective reviews. That was my YouTube channel. It was the Baron Reviews. Didn't do gameplay because I didn't feel confident about that. I didn't consider myself an entertainer, so to speak, so I didn't like doing gameplay videos. I just did these short 2-minute reviews. I would puppeteer them, and I would record the audio separately in a sound booth. Super high production value compared to this shit. But that's what I was doing. So I was very, very active on Reddit with my YouTube channels, on the Oculus and Vive subreddits. And I would occasionally, or not occasionally, I would always post my videos there in the hopes of getting more subscribers, getting more viewers and stuff like that. And didn't have too much success. But the other element of it was I was always on the hunt for new games to play, because being a poor nobody with no clout or influence, you can't afford every single game that comes out. So I'd always be looking for developers who want people to review their games. I'd always say, okay, but I was like, this is the thing. My whole shtick is I don't do fake excitement. I don't do all that, like, what's up, guys? I don't do all that. I was like, I'll just review a game honestly. So I contact developers, just send them a cold call email being like, hey, I'm nobody. I'm just some weird puppet. Do you want to review your game? And to my surprise, some developers are amazing. Like some of those early developers especially. So goddamn cool, just so chill and so understanding. They just wanted like honest reviews, and they didn't care if you didn't have 1 million subs or anything like that. So that was super awesome. So anyway, one day I'm on Reddit. I think it was the Oculus subreddit, and I see this thread, and it's basically bemoaning why is there no good melee in VR, and there's no good medieval games in VR. So I'm perusing the comments, and I see this little comment down way below by this guy called KospY, and he says, I have a little game, a little medieval game. It's medieval, but it's also fantasy. He's like, it's not even an alpha. He's like, it's super early days. He's like, you want a key? He's like, I'd love for you to test it. And the guy very ungraciously says, no thanks, I don't accept keys that aren't on Steam. And KospY, to his credit, responds and says, oh, it is a Steam game, it's just it hasn't been made public yet. And your man responds and he says, oh, well, it would better be amazing graphics because I don't play shitty graphics games. Or something to that tune. In retrospect, maybe I'm being too hard on that guy. When I read it, I thought it was quite ingracious, but someone was saying to me since, you know what, maybe he didn't mean to sound so ingracious or whatever, but it just kind of came off that way. Anyway, so I said to him, I was like, I'll try your game. Like, I'll give it a go. Yeah, I'm just, PM'd him. I'm like, I'm just a small YouTuber, this puppet channel. And he responds back and he says, he's like, oh, checked your channel, looks good. He's like, I like your little puppet. It reminds me of the Muppets. I was like, haha, you know, like that's cool. So I installed Blade and Sorcery, and it's on Steam, boot it up, and I start playing it, and I see, you know, it's this. Of course, it didn't look quite like this, and your guy was like a naked guy back then. But I'm like, okay, cool, what's this? You know, go next door. Oh, okay, map. You know, the thing longer bug. I'm like, okay, arena. Go into it, play it. And I'm like, okay, it's like an arena game. Yeah, that's cool. First guy comes out, and I'm noticing about, you know, the weapon sway and stuff. And I thought the full body was neat. I'm really, and like your legs and stuff. I loved that. I really enjoyed the weapon way, you know, as the anti-wiggle sword kind of solution. I was like, okay, that's cool. And there was the only time I'd ever seen it was something similar in Tales of Glory as weapon way, but I'd never seen this before. And I was like, oh, like that's cool. So anyway, go to the arena. First guy comes out, you know, to my surprise, can parry weapons. I'm like, holy shit. And then I remember stabbing the guy and seeing like the weapon go in like that. Oh man, I just thought it was so fucking cool. So I played it for about 10 minutes, and I jumped back on Reddit, or no, I think it was Discord. There was like a private little Discord. Jumped on Discord. Like the first message I ever sent to KospY, it was something like, mate, you have something fucking special, or something like that. And so yeah, KospY responds back on Discord, and being fucking KospY is real humble, like, oh, thanks, you know, it's still in the works, and oh yeah, it's gonna be much better, blah blah blah. And I was like, mate, like there's nothing like this. In terms of like the physicality to it, I was like, there's nothing like this. I was like, why haven't you blasted this everywhere? And he's, you know, if you know him in real life, he's a very, he's a perfectionist, but he's also very humble. And he doesn't like to, you know, blow his own trumpet. And he's just like, yeah, you know, like I just don't know about that. Like I just don't feel confident. I was like, oh my god, like that is nuts. Like, I was like, well, can I post about it? And he's like, nah, like it's too early. I really just want testers. I don't want YouTubers posting about this video. And I was like, oh my god, like so dying I was like, this is like amazing. Like I'd love to post about this, and no one's been talking about it. I'd love to chat about it. So anyway, we were on the Discord. There was about maybe 10 of us on the Discord, and off that 10, probably quite honestly, only about 4, including myself, who were actually like giving feedback. I kind of wonder if the others were just like take the key and run and say, oh, okay, I'll check this back in a couple of you know, months or a year or something like that. So there's about 4 of us giving feedback. Updates are coming, you know, kick was added, blood was added, all these amazing things just kept getting better and better. I remember I was like super active. I think it's safe to say I was the most active feedback giver, because I was just playing the game constantly because I loved him. Always giving feedback, always, you know, PMing KospY to give him feedback and give him encouragement, you know, like just please don't give up in this game. It's really awesome. And then I remember when he was coming along with the magic, I remember, I'm ashamed to say this, I was against the magic in the early days. Telekinesis, and like when he talked about lightning and stuff, I didn't think it was a good idea. And here's my reason. Because for the past year, I'd been working with lots of tiny developers reviewing their games, and I know a bunch of developers who bit off more than they could chew. And the result with that is you end up with a game that's kind of like halfway between your vision. You know, it's not this and it's not this. It's kind of halfway. My fear was KospY would have this awesome game, and being just this one-man dev, he just wouldn't have the resources, you know, or you wouldn't even have the willpower, because, you know, I'm sure it's mentally draining making a game. They wouldn't have the willpower to follow through in it. So I was saying to him, dude, just make this a gladiator game. Make it, you know, this could be like a Gladius kind of Gorn kind of Gladiator game. I was like, you're rocking the melee. Just go with that, sail with that, and forget all the magic and stuff. And he was just a guy with a vision. He's like, nah, like this. I wanted to be like Dark Messiah. I had this vision, and I was like, you're making a terrible, terrible mistake. And I ate those words because I have to say the magic in the game is phenomenal. Absolutely love it. It's so hard to even picture what the game would be like without it now. So yeah, I completely shut up. After that, it really made me realize, okay, he's not your average dude. Like, this is a super talented dude. So give him the benefit of the doubt. He knows what he's doing. So development continued, and the game was getting better and better and better. It was coming kind of, a couple of months away from when he wanted to open up in beta, and he was going to let more people play it. And so I said to him, please let me talk about this game. Let me just one post on Reddit. That's all I asked. Just one post on Reddit, just to put this on people's radar. He was so against it. And I just remember pleading with him that, like, I've worked with these small indie devs, and I know so many of them that have great games, but the games don't have any marketing, and they are any kind of like hype or any kind of media buzz, and so they come out of the gate and just flop financially, even though they're great games. And it sucks, Like, there's a little game called Diorama Worlds. I love that game. Breaks my heart. It's just a tiny game that no one has really heard of. And it's so cool. It was so novel, back then and stuff like that. And then another game came out about a couple of months after Diorama Worlds. I think it's called the Tiny Towns or something like that. Just had a smart kind of marketing package with it. And it demolished Diorama Worlds in terms of publicity. And that always killed me, Or there's another good example, Furious Seas. Pirate game, the ocean, awesome arcade game, really fucking fun. It's a pirate game, like everyone wants pirate in VR, right? No one had heard of it. Came out of the gate, boom, just crashed. I wonder how they're doing now, actually. But it was such a good game, and it just didn't get the attention I wanted. So after pleading with him for, I think maybe 2 months, finally he broke down. He was like, okay. He's like, you can cover the game. My whole shtick was, see, he was worried that he would put the game out to YouTubers. Okay, 90% of YouTube is clickbait. The reason YouTubers do this, and I get it, this may sound judgmental. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but this is just the reality. Okay, YouTubers use clickbait and sensational titles because they want to get more views. They want to get more views because that's how they earn money on YouTube. It makes perfect sense. There's no judgment from me. That's just how they do it. I hate that. I hate it because I hate it as a viewer. I hate seeing the red arrow, and the face going, and I can't stand that as a viewer. And I can't stand titles that say just full of hyperbole, like the greatest VR title of all time. I can't stand that. Or you need to watch this, that kind of thing. Like, now again, why do they use it? Because it brings in views. And then, when viewers are watching the video, the content might be great, but they need to use that kind of clickbaity, pull you in title just to stand out. That's what they have to do. Anyway, KospY was worried people would clickbait the shit out of Blade and Sorcery because it would be ripe for it. Because if you think about it, think of like the little GIFs and stuff, it'd be so easy to make all sorts of wacky claims. This is going to be an RPG. This is going to be this or that, or and completely blow out of proportion. And he was really, really, really worried about creating a No Man's Sky situation where people start talking about, oh, this is going to be a hyper-realistic HEMA simulator, like European martial arts. It's going to be like Kingdom Come. It's going to be an RPG. It's going to be multiplayer. It's going to be all that. And he didn't want YouTubers basically inadvertently spreading misinformation about the game. So when I came along, I was like, well, listen, my shtick, I know I'm tiny, but my shtick is I'm an anti-hyperbole, anti-sensationalist YouTuber. That's my thing. I was like, let me do it. I'd be perfect because I already love the game. I've been alpha testing for months, And on principle, you know I will never clickbait this game. So that's why, do you ever notice in my videos, I even to my detriment, but I use pretty vanilla looking thumbnails, which I really should try and jazz them up a bit, but I'm always worried about creating a clickbait type thumbnail. And do you ever notice how my video titles are always very vanilla too? Blade and Sorcery, and just, it is what it is. This is mixed combat, or this is this or that. I never use titles like, check my 6 skills or the greatest moves you will ever see. I never did that. And so when I did start releasing videos of Blade and Sorcery, I showed how amazing. I was like, this is the fucking amazingness of this game. But I always showed all the warts and all of the game. I was like, this is janky. I was like, look the way these ragdolls bounce all over the place. I was like, you know, that was the deal. So anyway, made the first post ever on Reddit, on the Vive and Oculus subreddits, and they really blew up. I just remember waking up the next morning, checking my inbox, and I had something like 350, messages in my inbox. I was like, holy shit. And that's how, I think KospY knew at that point on he had something really special. Because he had never seen anyone talk about the game other than his 4, people alpha testing it. So when that came along, he was like, okay, look at this. So when that came along, he's like, okay, I think something cool is happening here. So anyway, tons and tons of hype was generated from that Reddit post. And then came the PMs, people saying, how do I get this? Where do I find it more? And I remember just telling people there's no Discord, there's no Steam page, there's no subreddit, there's no anything, there's no YouTubers saying it. And people were just like, what the fuck? And me and KospY, we completely new to the game, and KospY were getting tons and tons of PMs from YouTubers saying like, let me play. And KospY was like, no. He's like, you know, I'm not letting any YouTubers play it. And so these were fucking huge YouTubers. These are YouTubers with millions of subs were PMing KospY saying, well, how come this little weird puppet guy is making videos? And KospY would say, well, because he's allowed. I gave him permission. And no one else is getting permission until beta. And that's why I have so much fucking respect for KospY. Because even everything he's always done, he's never done it with dollar signs in his eyes. He valued the integrity of the game more than he valued creating this massive runaway hype engine, which ironically did become runaway hype engine, but he never manufactured that. He to his detriment, held back. He tied his own hands behind his back on the publicity of the game. And that made me want to promote it even more. So I fucking hit YouTube and I hit Reddit like fucking crazy. As much as KospY would allow me, because he didn't want me spamming videos, but he said I could make like 1 a week. I was like, okay, that's amazing. That's fantastic. And I just, shouting the Blade and Sorcery from the high hills because I just thought, okay, here's some really novel game. It's got really great potential and it's got a really fucking great developer. He has a high integrity developer. And so that's why I just kept banging the Blade and Sorcery drum. And being the only YouTuber doing it, that's, a lot of people would come to my channel to see videos, and that was great for my channel. Completely changed my channel. I stopped becoming like a 2-minute reviewer, which kind of makes me sad, but at the same time, I mean, that's life, isn't it? But yeah, kind of became a Blade and Sorcery channel. And so when that continued for a couple of months, and then when the game went into beta, then it was time to open it up to YouTubers. And my fucking God, the floodgates, people poured through the floodgates in applications to play the game. People were rabid to play the game on YouTube. And we opened the Discord. Oh my God, Discord blew up. Subreddit, the subreddit, it didn't blow up, but it had a nice steady gain. And things just got crazy. I remember it was like 2 days into it, and KospY messaged me on Discord when Discord became public, and he said, I can't do this. He's like, I just spent the last 2 days not coding and just answering private messages. Like, people just keep messaging me. And so he says, hey, how would you like to be the community manager for the game? Which was like amazing, because I was already kind of associated with the game. I love the game. And I was already like talking to KospY every single day, so it was the perfect fit. And again, this is the kind of man KospY is. He's like, I'm going to take my name off the Discord, and first of all, he said he pushed it down like lower on Discord, and then he removed it altogether because he's like, if people come to Discord and have questions or business things, let them go to you. He's like, I just want to work on my game. I don't like all the talking to people about marketing, talking to people about this and that. Like, I don't like you handle all that part. I'll just code the game. I was like, this is a dream come true for me, because like I love the game and this is my chance to be even more integrated. So then we had the beta year. The beta years. It felt like years. We had the beta months, and that was the time of all those crazy giveaways, all the core Discord group, and all that jazz. And that was the best, And then that led us up to just before release. He needed a trailer. Well, in real life, you might know I'm an editor. I do trailers for television and stuff in real life. So KospY came to me. He's like, "You wanna do the trailer? Like, it seems like you'd be the right man to do it." So that was a dream for me too, because it's like I loved doing it. And then we had like the trailer premiere on my channel, and I remember the Steam page going live. Oh, I was so excited. Like, everything was so exciting. And then of course I left for Christmas, so I kind of missed all the first weeks of people playing. But that's how it all happened. And then that leads us to today. And that's where we still are. So I'm still the community manager for the game. KospY is still coding away, working on early access. The game's just going from strength to strength to strength. We have a really fucking big Discord now. I think it's something like 12,000 members or something like that, which is nuts. That puts us in the leagues with the big boys, basically. And then I think the subreddit is cruising around 8,000 or something like that. Crazy for a game that had like 4 people testing it back then, and no one had heard of. Just so crazy. Anyway, that is the story of KospY and the Baron. I've been meaning to make this video for ages. In fact, I did make this goddamn video, and I recorded it without sound. So this is my second attempt at it. Feel like I've rambled on for a long time. Anyway, just wanted to tell the story. Hope it was interesting to some of you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, cheers.